You know, in any business, trust is pretty much the engine that keeps everything running smoothly. It's invisible, but you feel it when it's there. But what happens when that engine starts grinding to a halt? Today, we're going to talk about a threat that doesn't knock on the front door. It's already inside. It's the corrosive power of suspicion and how you find your way back to solid ground.
So, let's start with a really important question. I mean, think about all the things that can hurt a business, right? You've got competitors, market changes, a bad economy. All that stuff is serious. But there's something else, something much quieter, that can absolutely rot a company from the inside out. So what do you think it is? What's the one thing that can tear a business apart faster than any of those outside forces?
It's this, right here, the loss of internal trust. That moment when the people you count on, the people on your team, start looking at each other with doubt. That's when the whole structure starts to shake. And this isn't just about bad vibes or poor morale. It's a real, genuine threat to the way your business actually operates.
And that loss of trust, well, it comes with a hefty price tag, because just letting that suspicion hang in the air, pretending it's not there, that's not a neutral choice. It's actively costing your organization.
The thing is, the damage hits you from two sides at once. This quote really nails it. It's not just your internal company culture that takes a beating. It's your reputation out in the world that gets dragged through the mud. You end up fighting a war on two fronts, and that's a tough one to win.
So what happens when there's no proof? Say something goes missing, or some sensitive info gets out, and you have no idea who did it. Well, that vacuum doesn't stay empty for long. Suspicion just rushes right in to fill the void, and that's when the rumors start, little cliques form, and nobody can make a clear decision. It creates this genuinely toxic atmosphere where it's impossible for people to do their best work.
And we're not talking about hypotheticals here. The risks are very, very real. I mean, you've got straight-up financial losses from theft. You've got reputational damage that can haunt you for years. You could be dealing with actual sabotage or someone leaking your data to a competitor. And then there are the things that are harder to measure, but just as destructive, like team morale hitting rock bottom or the rot of commercial bribery, kickbacks. Any single one of these could be enough to cripple a company.
All right, so if suspicion is the poison, what's the antidote? The answer definitely isn't more guessing games or pointing fingers. It's about finding a clear, objective, and structured path to get to the truth.
And this is where something like a corporate polygraph investigation comes into play. Now, it's really important to get the picture straight here. This isn't some dramatic TV show interrogation. It's a professional, scientifically grounded tool used for one thing: to find out what really happened when there's just no other evidence to go on. It's all about getting clarity.
For a process like this to work, it has to be built on a foundation of trust, and that rests on three main pillars. First up, confidentiality. The results are for you and you alone, all locked down by non-disclosure agreements. Second, objectivity. This uses high-precision equipment and proven methods to take human error and bias out of the equation as much as possible. And third, accuracy. You get reliable, high-precision results that give you a solid basis to make fair, informed decisions.
So what can a process like this actually bring to light? Well, the kinds of issues it can address are probably wider and more critical than you'd imagine.
I mean, we are talking about getting to the bottom of some of the most damaging things that can happen inside a company. Everything from simple theft of property to someone deliberately leaking your trade secrets. We're talking about finding out who's getting kickbacks from suppliers or who's using company resources for their own side hustle. It can uncover financial fraud, employees working together to cover something up, or even intentional sabotage. It's really a tool for zeroing in on the truth, no matter what the issue is.
But it's crucial to understand that this isn't just about pointing a finger and finding a bad guy. The end goal is so much bigger than that. It's really about healing the entire organization and protecting its future.
Think about it. After something bad happens, there are really only two roads you can go down. The first path, without an investigation, is just filled with lingering suspicion. Trust keeps eroding, the atmosphere is toxic, and you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But now look at the other path. With an investigation, yeah, you identify who's responsible, but just as important, you prove who isn't. You exonerate the innocent, and that lifts this huge weight off the whole team. It allows a healthy atmosphere to return, gives you a real basis to stop it from happening again, and lets you make decisions based on facts, not just gut feelings.
So, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. The main goal is to get that healthy environment back. It's about removing that cancer of suspicion so that everyone can get back to being productive and secure. It's about protecting the business that you've worked so hard to build.
It really all boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful idea. You just can't build trust on a foundation of doubt and whispers. It's impossible. You need clarity. You need the facts. Trust always begins with truth.
And that brings us full circle. Now that you've seen the kind of damage that uncertainty can do, and you know that a path to clarity exists, the last question is really one for you to think about. When you know the risks to your money, to your reputation, to your team, what is the real cost of doing nothing?